course. So let's maybe look at what the course document says.
Okay.
So if you look at the top one, first you see here that when you're describing the advanced hire concepts, there's often a lack of detail.
Right, okay. And I see in the same point from the 2023 report as well, speech bubble on the bottom right there, it says that's obviously something that we need to work on.
Yep, and I know that my students, they often just write the advanced hire concepts. They don't have any description. They basically take it straight out of the document. So what we need to do is we need to fix, that's one thing that we need to fix. So let's move over to the right hand, the middle one. And what it says there is that the subtasks aren't being broken down and they're not specific to their individual projects.
Okay, yeah. And there's another point here that says that they're often missing out some of the resources as well. So the project plan is something that I should really be looking at with my students.
Absolutely. And you can see for the final bubble, it's also about the project plan. And it's really an easy extra marker too for pupils to get if they nail the project plan. So what we'll do now is we'll just have a wee look at, first of all, the description, and we'll see how we can make that better.
Okay. Can I just double check as well, just before we move on, is everybody still in the Miro? If we're having any Miro issues, are people managed to follow along? If you've just joined the Miro, if you hit the follow Deborah, she's presenting right now, that should ping you to the slide that we're on. Look at all those thumbs up. Thank you. What a lovely bunch. Thank you. Great. Okay. If there's any issues, please just either write in the Google chat, speak up, or let us know. Okay. Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks so much for that wee reminder, David.
Yep, the bot. Okay, so I see on this page we have the details from the template that we should be included in the description.
That's right. So candidates are instructed
to
include the problem of the description, and also they've got to identify the advanced hire concepts and the integration, and the other bullet point is about their constraints. So let's have a wee look at some of the usual responses that we get from candidates, and tell me if these are what you see from your.
Okay. I mean, I've seen a few software development projects, and yeah, that looks like pretty common statements.
Right. So there's your. They're going to have a subquery. Doesn't tell us what subquery does.
Yeah. Okay.
They connect to the web page. So that's one of them. Let's take away that one. So here's our have a 2D array.
Pretty vague.
Yeah. So let's have a wee look at how we can start to make them better. So have you have a 2D array? What could we do to make that one a little bit better? If I delete this slide.
Okay. Use a 2D array to store the leaderboard. Yeah, okay, a bubble sort. Yeah, okay. From what I can see here, I mean, we should be expecting candidates to say like how the concept is actually going to be used in the project. So the 2D array will be used, for the leaderboard, and also it links to the 2D array and the higher, the standard algorithm. Am I right in saying that the advanced higher data structure must be used within the advanced higher standard algorithm?
It absolutely must. We often, a lot of times we see they've got an advanced higher data structure, they've got their bubble sort, or their binary search, their insertion sort, but what they don't do is put them together. We often see there's their algorithm done with a 1D array, and they're marks for that. So they've got the construct, they've got the data structures, and they've got the algorithm. They're just not putting them together.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so let's look at the next one. So when we do the connection to the database.
Okay, connection will be made from my program to the database to read in the top 10 entries of the leaderboard. All right, okay, so the previous point, can you talk about leaderboard? So if we have to carry that forward, as this is kind of a software development project, I mean, I would guess something along the lines of, you need to connect the database so that the leaderboard can then be read into the program.
Yep, and that's exactly what it says there. We need to just make sure that we're given a better description of what's going on with that. And then we've got our run SQL queries.
Okay.
And if we...
Yeah.
So there's 2 examples.
An SQL statement will be used. Okay, that makes sense. So the last one, kind of top SQL. So no, you'd want them to identify what kind of type of SQL statement is being used and why it's being used.
That's right. So it's not just about writing down that concept.
Yeah.
We have to discuss why things are being used.
Okay.
Right. I'll take away one more. So here is our web. Now, session variables, as you're going to see as we go through, they're not always done to the best. So let me just, if I jump up and delete. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
You went too far.
I'd went. So here is what we think of the session variable. What do you think of that?
Okay, so my website will use a session variable to store the user's username once they have connected to and logged in to the database. When the user logs out, the session will end. So, see the session. So, okay. So before, let's see. So the session variables here. I think is that all right? I mean, the website will use a session variable to store the user's username once. Yeah, I think that's all right. Yeah, that's okay. I can see that they're doing that. All right, yeah.
And there's not any design in there. Sometimes, as you know, when they'll mix up some design, there's no design. It is just, this is my session variable. This is the session variable. This is how I'm going to use it. No other information about it. Right.
Okay.
So the next one is your media query. Do you want to have a guess as to what should be included?
Okay. The media query. Right, so my website. Oh, right, okay. Well, I'm not sure about this one. Let's get a look. So are you talking about are you talking about what changes will be made about different sizes? Or
Right. Yep. The different sizes. Yeah. There we go. I've given an example as well of a change that would be made. And we want to see about the sizes that we're going to include in there.
Okay. Okay, that really kind of clarifies what we should be expecting from our students. Okay, I get that. I mean, is that helping everybody? Do you think that's kind of fair? Looking at what pupils do right and looking at really what we're expecting the pupils to be writing in a lot more kind of detail, and it needs to be tied much more in with the project that they're actually doing rather than just writing the concepts down verbatim.
That's right, and everybody will get a wee chance to do some feedback at the end of this block. So if you just give us a couple of wee minutes and we'll get there.
Right, okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's us finished with the description. What else is there? What's next there then?
Not quite finished it yet. There's another thing that we need to look at.
Okay.
So let's have a wee look at this frame. So you can see there's only 2 points on here. Just a reminder to everybody, scope and boundaries were removed from the project, and I think it was 2-3 years ago, but we're still receiving projects that have got scope and boundaries in it, which means that pupils are wasting time completing these sections when they could be doing other things.
That must be frustrating, and they're doing that work and the markers can't give them any marks for it.
Exactly. Honestly, it kind of breaks you when you're marked that happens, that they've done all this work and you cannot give them the marks. So please, we need to make sure that everyone is following the up-to-date project booklet, that I've got the descriptions and the checklist, the new template that's been released, because if they do that, then they cannot go wrong.
Yeah, that's all on the SQA website, I assume, yeah?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And of course, the last one is, please to remember that all inputs must be validated, and that is an advanced hire concept.
Okay, so that, okay, does that mean that they should list all the inputs and how they're going to invalidate every single one?
Not at this point, because we do that at functional requirements. So at this point, it's okay just to have in there validating all the inputs.
All right, so they can use that vague statement, and then later on they'll kind of go into that. Okay, that's fine.
Right. So move on to UML.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. So, I mean, I've noticed, right? I'm just going to come in here, right? I've noticed my students either put like too many use cases in or too little. So, like, do you find that when marking?
We absolutely do.
Right, okay.
And the thing with that is, that's when you can spot that a child has done it retrospectively.
Right.
The minute there's loads in there, they
Mhm.
have done it retrospectively because there's way too much detail. So what we need to do is we need to emphasize that the information that's represented in the use case diagram is, in fact, it should tie up with your user requirements. They need to marry up.
Okay.
It shouldn't be the procedures and the functions from your program.
Mhm.
And I often find that my students as well, because they're doing them either retrospectively or they're going back and updating them, it's procedures and it's functions that I'm seeing that's inside there for the project. For programs.
Okay. Most of my pupils do databases, but I can see why software, development pupils would think to do that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense when you're talking to them, because that's what they're thinking about. They're
Mhm.
thinking about the procedures, they're thinking about the functions. The other error is that students forget to add in any files that they're not the database as an actor. So
Right.
if they've got a CSV file, or if the program is outputting an HTML page,
Mhm.
that has to be an actor as well, and those are often excluded.
Okay. What about now, like exclude and extend? No, people's can you often confuse those two?
They do, but the good news is they are not required for the project.
Hey, that's good news. I like that.
Absolutely.
Right.
They'll win their exam, but they're not required for the project.
Okay. Okay. So I mean, I'll make sure people know that. That's the first thing I'll be telling them. Okay, there are a couple of small things that can kind of help to get another mark, maybe possibly two. So that leaves us with the project plan, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. So,
Gantt chart.
and I have made a very pretty Gantt chart.
It looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
However, it's actually going to get 0 marks.
Oh, even though it looks so good.
It looks absolutely amazing. It took me ages that, but it's going to get no marks. So would you like to guess why?
Oh, so Gantt charts should show subtasks and timings. I mean,
Yep.
this does both, so that means that there's something wrong with them. Looking at the subtasks, they are the ones from the marking schemes. Yeah,
Yep, they are.
is that right? Yeah, okay.
And because of that, they are not specific to the actual project that's being developed. And
Okay.
therefore, I'm afraid they're not going to get any marks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Again, loads of marks. So there's nothing getting awarded for their subtasks at that point because they have not made it personal to their project.
Okay. Wow. Right. So,
What
okay.
about
What's that? Sorry?
sorry, what about the scheduling? The time?
Right. So, okay. So I'm looking and I can see that the times when they've worked, it seems that they've worked like quite a lot. Did they take any breaks?
According to this, they didn't even have Christmas Day off.
Oh, well, maybe they're super keen.
They've worked over Christmas, they've worked over New Year, they've worked the October holiday, they have had absolutely no break. So yet again, they're getting 0 marks because these timings are not accurate. So they can't get the marks. They've just put something together really quickly without any proper thought.
It's a token exercise, really. I mean, fair enough, they've totally made that up.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything we need to know, like for resources? Mine's usually just write a list down.
Yep, so do mine. Because obviously you can't do it in a Gantt chart. Not that all mine do Gantt charts, but yes, they just usually write them underneath. To be honest, though, resources are usually well handled. Some things that they might forget, and I've seen this a couple of times, is and especially people who have got a web element to the project, they actually forget to write down a browser.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They get everything else in,
okay.
but they forget. Now, something else that I have put in this Gantt chart, and I've meant to say was I've put in the analysis. You don't have to include that in the Gantt chart, but if people, sorry,
because I mean, writing the Gantt chart's part of the analysis, really.
Correct.
Right.
So it's from design onwards. However, if they put in analysis, they don't lose marks.
Got it. Okay. If you want to kind of give us some feedback on the golden threads, some feedbacks on analysis, You could also use this board to kind of ask any questions or dive into any details that we kind of just went over there. So I'll give you a kind of minute or two. If you're all good, give us a wee thumbs up. But we'll also just give you a wee minute to type anything that you need to type.
Sorry, we use the phrase people lose marks. People don't lose marks.
I know, I'm sorry.
Access marks that are available.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Okay. I think we've got no more questions coming up.